Hi guys, YGOSmurf here, and today I'm going to be talking you through the rules of the Emperor Monarch Duel Spirits versus variant of Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos by YGOSmurf. Be creative. Before going to the actual rules, I'd like to point out that if you would like to know the deck list for the Emperor Monarch, that can be found at my other video where it actually introduces this whole idea of Duel Spirits and the Emperor Monarch. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't yet. In addition, the rules and the deck list can be found in the links below on a Google document. Go ahead and check that out for any reason that you want to go ahead and read it over, look at it your own. Starting off, life points. Both Emperor and the Challenger start with 1,000 life points like a normal game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Moving on to actual gameplay during the Emperor's turn. The Emperor's deck, for the most part, plays itself. However, the challengers will have to reveal the cards for the deck because obviously cards are just cards and they cannot reveal themselves. Starting the game, as you may have noticed, in the deck list there are varying cards used for tribute fodder. You will start the game with one of these monsters on the Emperor Monarch's field. This is decided by dice roll, random selection from the bottom, or your own preference while dueling the Emperor Monarch. The 4 tribute fodder monsters are Treeborn Frog, Simsur Kaiser, Majahashin, and Level Eater. So once you have decided which tribute fodder is going to start on the Emperor's field, you need to figure out who is going to go first. The Emperor or yourself. To decide who goes first, you will flip a coin. Since you are fighting an Emperor, his deck will always go first. If the result is head, it is important to note that if the Emperor goes second, you cannot remove or manipulate the predetermined tribute fodder monster. It does not technically count as existing on the Emperor's field until it is the Emperor's turn during the reveal step. If the challengers do end up going first, they do not draw a card, per standard rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! However, this rule does not apply to the Emperor's deck since he's an Emperor and he will reveal cards even if he goes first. The way the Emperor draws cards is by revealing a number of cards determined by a starting number. The starting number, or the reveal count, is 2 cards. This number can be altered for varying levels of difficulty. You play each revealed card one by one as each one is revealed. If for any reason a card cannot be played, it is returned to the bottom of the Emperor's deck. This card does count as being revealed. This can be altered for difficulty level. Rules concerning monsters when they're revealed. So, if the monster revealed is a level 4 or lower monster, it is going to be summoned in defense position face up on the Emperor's side of the field. If you reveal a level 6 monarch, you instantly tribute summon it. The decision to tribute which monster acts on priority. The priority is level 4 or lower monsters first, level 6 monarch who has been on the field the longest second, and the only monster on the Emperor's field is third in priority. If you reveal a level 8 monarch monster, the priority follows this way. First you go with the level 6 monarch with the same name and attribute as the mega. The second in priority is a level 6 monarch. The third priority are 2 level 4 or lower monsters. Similar to the Challenger, the Emperor is only allowed 5 monster slots. However, this is not true for the spell and trap cards. When it comes to revealing spells and traps, the Emperor is only allowed the continuous occupancy of 2 spell or trap card zones. An important note is that this 2 zone limit only applies to continuous spells and traps. So what that means that if you have the 2 zones taken up by continuous cards, the Emperor can still play cards that only remain on the field for their activation and resolution, such as a reinforcements of the army. When revealing spells or traps, you play them and activate them as normal. Spells being played right away and trap cards being set in the continuous zones, and it will activate during the Challenger's upcoming standby phase. The way in which trap cards are revealed and played can be altered for varying levels of difficulty and player preference, like many other things. If one of the spell or trap cards calls for a target on the Emperor's side, target an appropriate card that has been on the field the longest. An example, Will of the Monarchs revealed and activates. The Emperor has had a Mobius on the field for 2 turns and a Grand Mog that has just got played this turn. Will of the Monarchs will target the Mobius. If an Emperor's card calls for the targeting of a card on the Challenger side of the field, it is chosen randomly from the appropriate targets. For example, if Grand Mog is tribute summoned, his effect 2 to destroy 1 set card on the field. The Emperor has no set cards, but the Challengers has 1 set monster and 2 set speller traps. The Challengers rolls a d6, or for those, a 6-sided die, to determine which one is destroyed, or you can just randomly select yourself. There's lots of ways to randomly select a card, and it's all up to you. Concerning attacks and the battle phase, these rules will apply. Once all of the cards have been revealed for the turn, the Emperor enters the battle phase. Since the Emperor is a proud leader during the combat step, he will only attack if it appears his monarchs will win the battle. When I say appears to win, I mean that he will only declare an attack if one of his monsters has higher attack than the Challenger's monsters. So, for example, the Challenger controls a monster with 1700 attack, and the Emperor controls a monarch and a tree-born frog. Battle will ensue between the Emperor's monarch and the Challenger's 1700 attack monster. Another example is that you, the Challenger, controls a monster with 2500 attack. The Emperor controls a Mega Monarch and a regular Monarch. The Mega Monarch will attack the Challenger's monster with 2500 attack first, and then the regular Monarch will attack. When all monsters have attacked at least once during a turn, if they can, the battle phase is over. Once the battle phase is over, the Emperor ends his turn and it now begins the Challenger's turn. For the Challenger's turn, it's pretty basic. For single player, the turn mechanics and all other rules of standard Yu-Gi-Oh! Apply to the Challenger. Players take their turn as she or he would normally do so. If you are facing the Emperor Monarch with a friend in a co-op version, the rules for co-op are very similar to the 2 vs 2 on Dev Pro or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Both players begin the game with a 5-card hand. When it becomes their turn, only one player draws a card. This will alternate each turn. Player A draws one turn, player B draws on turn 2. Between both players, they share 5 monster card zones, 5 spell and trap card zones, 1 field spell slot, and 1 graveyard. The Challengers only receive 1 normal summon per turn as if they were 1 player, and all phases are shared and conducted simultaneously. So with the Monarch and the whole Duel Spirit versus variant, there are some special card mechanic rules that apply to varying effects. So, effects that would return or send cards to hand proceed as follows. If an effect of a card the Emperor owns is part of the Emperor's deck causes a card to be added returned to the Emperor's hand, that card instantly attempts to be summoned / played as if it was being revealed once again. So, for example, Samsura Kaiser is tributed for a summon. He is instantly normal summoned after any effects of the tribute summon monster is resolved. If an effect that sends or returns a card to the hand activates and is controlled by the Challengers that is targeting the Emperor, the selected targets are added into a temporary zone. Cards in the temporary zone will be attempted to revealed before the regular reveal phase of the Emperor's turn. They will not count towards the reveal count and are considered as extra reveals. For the mechanic of discarding as a cost or an effect, since the Emperor does not ever control a hand, these cards and effects do not apply to the Emperor or his deck. Accordingly, any effect that causes the Emperor's deck to take an action that it otherwise stated cannot do, it is simply ignored and the effect will fizzle. To increase the fun of Duel Spirits and the Emperor deck, I've slightly altered some of the cards in the deck's rules and interactions to make sure that the deck is fun to play against. Special rules for Level Eater. During the reveal and standby phases, his effect activates as soon as it can. Example 1. Level Eater is on the field. Reveal and summon a Monarch by sacrificing Level Eater. The Monarch effect will resolve. Level Eater's effect is then activated before revealing another card to summon himself onto the field. Example 2. You have revealed the final card and you move into the standby phase. Level Eater's effect can be activated and therefore does so, summoning itself before battles are attempted. The special rules for Dust Tornado follow. Destruction effect applies normally. You then reveal another card from the Emperor's deck and play it instead of the line that says, then you can set 1 spell or trap card from your hand. Special rules for Unearthing of Monarchs. If you are summoning a regular Monarch monster, search the deck and summon a Mega Monarch with the same attribute. If that is not available, summon any Monarch. This Monarch is randomly chosen by the Challenger. If you're summoning a Mega Monarch, search for a regular Monarch with a different attribute than the summoned Mega Monarch. If this is not available, no Monarchs are going to be summoned. The special rules for Strike of the Monarchs are, for the first line, if you are playing medium hard, the text that says you can tribute is treated as if you control. If Strike of the Monarchs is revealed while playing medium or higher difficulty, Strike of the Monarchs will not cause you to tribute a Monarch monster on your side of the field to activate its effect. You will instead just activate the effect if you control a Monarch on your side of the field. The second alteration to Strike of the Monarchs, you will always draw a card after revealing this card regardless of if its effects can be applied or not. Meaning, you will always send it to the graveyard and you will always reveal an additional card. Its third rule alteration is when summoning a Mega Monarch, this card is banished to enable the attribute requirement of the summoned Mega Monarch. This will happen only if the Mega Monarch being summoned will not already have its attribute effect applied. The special rules of the Mausoleum of the Emperor is that both players may still use this card. However, the Emperor Monarch will always use this card to tribute summon a monster if there are monster card zones available to directly normal summon it through Mausoleum's effect. So for example, if you have 5 monsters already on the Emperor's field with Mausoleum of the Emperor on the field, the Emperor will attempt to use one of the 5 monsters as tribute fodder. However, if you only have 4 monsters on the field and reveal a tribute summonable monster while Mausoleum of the Emperor is on the field, the Emperor will use the Mausoleum's effect to summon the monster, unless of course that would bring the Emperor down to 0 life points or less. The special rules for the Monarch Storm Forth is you just add a little clause to it that says, and reveal an additional card this turn. The last card that has special rules is Reinforcements of the Army. This is technically covered in the mechanics section, but I wanted to make sure it was reiterated here. The warrior is chosen randomly. You can do so by flipping a coin or searching the Emperor's deck, starting from the bottom for the first warrior you find and then shuffling the deck. He will be revealed and instantly summoned because it is added to the hand. One of my favorite parts about the Emperor Monarch is the ways in which that I have actually tweaked it to have varying level of difficulties. If you want to face the Emperor Monarch on an easy level, you're going to start with the reveal count at 2. Play all of the Emperor cards according to standard rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! Meaning trap cards are set first, you can tribute monsters on the Emperor side of the field with the Emperor's cards. For medium difficulty, the reveal count is still at 2. All traps are played as if they are spells. You do not set them. In this difficulty, all of the Emperor's cards cannot target or negatively affect themselves. This includes destroying or banishing or returning to the hand cards on the Emperor side of the field, and any other effect you deem as negative towards the Emperor. The hard difficulty, the reveal count is now raised to 3. You will follow the rules for medium. In addition, if a card cannot be activated or resolved properly, put that card on the bottom of the Emperor's deck, and this card will not count towards the reveal, meaning you will reveal an additional one if you ever draw a dud card. And lastly, the insane difficulty. The reveal count is bumped up to 4. You follow all the rules for hard. In addition, you increase all destruction and bouncing effects by 1. So, for example, if Grand Mog is summoned, you destroy up to 2 set cards. If Mobius is summoned, you destroy up to 3 spell or trap cards. If Thesilis, the Firestorm Monarch, is summoned, you have your opponent or the challenger discard up to 2 cards, and so on. So hopefully you found this rules video helpful and hopefully shorter than the actual gameplay video. That is in the link in the description and hopefully on an annotation here next to my face. If you want to see this deck actually played out, go there, and I explain everything that the Emperor Monarch is doing with it. It is rather lengthy, but it shows clearly the outline of the Emperor Monarch and how it can be slow and fast at the same time. Share this video so your friends know what you're talking about. Subscribe to me if you deem me worthy. Give this video a like if you think the idea is cool and you want me to explore more time into this. Support me if you wish. Have a wonderful day, guys. See ya.